Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK and welcome back to Fate Stay Night Remastered. Well, for some odd reason, we are going on a date with Saber. And that seems to be the direction we're heading in. Even so, we are still quite literally in the middle of a war and pretty much approaching the end of it. Nope, today we are going on a date. But in the last episode, I think we got some pretty good information. We went to the church, spoke with Kuromine for the first time in 30 episodes or so. And we have a pretty good idea of some things now, I want to say. That or I'm even more confused. But we did kind of get a better picture painted for us as to how the Holy Grail War came to be. The three families that kind of came together and, began this good idea or bad idea. I don't know what you want to call it. Then we came back, we spoke with Tosaka, she laughed at us, and we woke up in the shed, I guess I shouldn't be too surprised, but no matter what she says, today no matter what she says, Saber and I are going on a date. My first priority will be to take her to plenty of places, so she'll have a chance to enjoy herself. I've been trying to search my mind for the perfect spot for a date, but before I could come up with anything, my alarm went off. I turned the alarm clock on just in case. As hard as I tried, I still couldn't think of anything last night, so I borrowed an alarm clock from Tosaka, figuring I might have to pull an all-nighter. Not that it's done any good. I'm not entirely surprised. I sigh again. That's sort of a problem. I'm nervous enough, plus I didn't sleep. But I think the worst part is how shocked I am that, after staying up all night to think about it, I couldn't come up with a single thing a girl might like. From my very minimal and pretty shitty experience with trying to come up with where to go on a date, it is tough. It is. Fellas, it is. I think we can all agree. Anybody who's ever initiated a date, I think you can all agree that it's rough. Especially if you don't really know what the person likes, you have to keep it kind of general. Here, I want to say that Shirou has a little bit of an idea. More specifically, anything could go, because the idea is just to treat her well, to treat her out to a nice day. So, maybe that can work in general? Just keep it pretty, open-ended, up in the air, do the simple things. I'll just take her to cute shops. Well, I feel like there's a fundamental flaw in that plan, but I've already made up my mind. And there's nothing else I can think of. But what this all boils down to is that today is going to be a day packed with fun, and it'll go on until Saber says that she's had enough. That could happen pretty early. It could. Okay, that's a little concerning.
まだ眠ったままよ。あの様子なら目を覚ますのにもうしばらくかかりそうだけど、今日はそれが幸いしたわね。イリア、起きてればシローの後について回って邪魔してただろうし。そうですね。今までのようにシローに同行されてはたまらない。昨夜はああなってしまいましたが、今日からは本気で残るマスターを探すのです。シローには Ilias Field に構っている余裕はありません。
Ah, yes. Searching for the remaining masters. That's exactly what we're going to be doing.
ああ、そっちの邪魔じゃないんだけど。まあいいか。私が言っても仕方ないし、これはシローとセイバーの問題だし。
Tosaka laughs mischievously.
は？私とシローの問題ですか？
Yeah, don't worry about it. We finish breakfast, and it seems like a good time to leave. Saber is ready to look for masters, but I'm determined to execute my plan as well. I just need to be a man and tell her.
そのことだけどな、セイバー。今日は隣町に出るから、支度があるなら今のうちに済ませておいてくれ。
マスター探しですか？それでしたら隣町ではなく、郊外の方が確実だと思いますが。
そんなんじゃない。二人で遊びに行くんだから。郊外になんて言っても仕方がないだろう。
は？
Yeah, I don't think she's gonna be much of a fan of this plan here. Saber freezes. I'm glad that we have a spectator here. I try to ignore the sound of Tosaka trying, and largely failing, to control her laughter behind me. I will get her for that, later.
シロ、それはどういう意味でしょうか？遊びに行くとはシロとリンではなく、
俺が行くんだから、ついてくるのはセイバー以外いないだろう。トサカはうちでイリアの面倒を見てもらうから関係ない。
何をバカな。私とシロが隣町を探索したところで成果は薄い。そのようなことをしても意味がない。
I think you
一
forgot
体何をし
the
ようというのですか？
you
あなた
forgot
は。
about the fun part here, Saber. There's not going to be a single bit of investigating that'll be a priority. Saber's pretty clearly frustrated. I kind of figured something like this would happen, but things are looking even bleaker than I thought, since she clearly thinks we're going out to town just to search for masters.
参った。ここまで行ってもわからないんだな、セイバーは。要するに、俺はデートしようって言ってるんだけど、どうかな。
I ignore Tosaka's stare as I speak to Saber. I missed the S. I'm not sure how much Saber understands. Yeah, she might not get that
そのような言
idea.
い方ではわかりません。
Yeah, see?
具体的な内容を提示してくれませんか、シロ。
The idea of a date is probably something not really known to her. She looks even more irritated. And suddenly, it's like a switch flips in my head. There's no sense beating around the bush here. It'd be best if I were to just be blunt with her.
シロ、町に出るというのなら従いますが、デートをしようとはどういうことなのか説明してください。いくらこの時代に慣れていると言っても、私にも知らない
Yeah, see,
単
there
語
we
があり
go.
ます。あまり専門的な略語は使わないでほしい。
Again, really happy we have a spectator back there.
別に専門的な単語じゃないぞ。知らないなら教えてやるけど、デートってのは女の子と遊びに行くって意味だ。
は？
Saber goes completely still.
女の子とは私のことを言っているのでしょうか？
She's dazed now, muttering. When I nod yes, Saber looks even more confused.
言葉の意味はわかりましたが、意図が全くわかりません。そんなことをする理由は何ですか？
I wasn't expecting this question. I mean, I know what the point of a date is, but now that I'm on the spot and Saber wants me to explain it to her face, well...
ああ、もうそんならしくない単語を使うから勘違いさせるのよ。デートなんて言わずに、もっとわかりやすい言葉で説明すればいいのに。いい？セイバー。デートってのはね、要するに合いびきのことなの。シロは遊びに行くって言うけど、つまるところ男の子が好きな女の子にアピールするチャンスってわけ。
Thank you, Rin. Thank you. I cough loud. Tosaka may be right, but I'm pretty confident that a date and a tryst are two very different things. Sorry guys, I actually don't know my my particular vocabulary on this one, so forgive me for being stupid here, but I don't even know the absolute definition of the word. But I don't think it's worth mentioning. From her reaction, it looks like Saber finally understands what a date is.
そういうことだ、セイバー。今日一日は戦わないで町に行く。そもそも昼間は人目につくから戦えないだろう。ならどう過ごしてもいいはずだ。
それはそうですが、しかしあまりに意味がありません。そ
んなことはないけど、別にそうでも構わないぞ。今日はセイバーのために使うって決めたんだから、俺のことは気にするな。とにかく今日は絶対に町に行く。こればっかりは何を言われても変えないからな、セイバー。
I look her straight in the eye. Saber ponders for a while, looking serious.
では、私が反対した場合でも、シロは一人で町に出ると。
ああ、絶対に行く。そうでなきゃ、一晩考え抜いたのが
Ah,
バカみたいだ。
yes. We must guilt trip her into it.
それでは私が付き添わないわけにはいきません。サーバントとしてマスターを一人にすることはできないのですから。
After taking a deep breath, Saber answers in her usual manner. Okay, that could have gone better, but at least I've managed to convince her to come out. I shouldn't sweat the small stuff at this point. That was painfully awkward, I will admit.
お土産よろしくね。
As we step outside, I make a rude gesture at Tosuka, well, since she made fun of me until the very end.
それで具体的にはこれからどうするのですか、シロ。
どうするって、とりあえず隣町に出る。交差点からバスが出てるからそれに乗っていこう。
Ah, yes, the bus. Not really what I would choose for a date, but you know what? It is what it is. The hilly path is unusually quiet. It's a little past 9 in the morning on a weekday, and the town is starting to come alive, but it must be a little early to be heading out somewhere. There's no one on the road. It's like we have the road to ourselves.
そういえば、学校休むのに抵抗がなくなってるな。ここのところずっと家にこもってたし。
It feels like these days go by super slow sometimes, so a lot of time has passed recording this, going through the game. It has felt like forever since we've last gone to school as a student. I know somebody asked in the comments how long it's been since we last went to school, and somebody answered saying that it was back whenever we had to have our face off against Shinji because he was trying to kill everyone. But as a student, it's been even longer.
当然でしょう。シロはマスターなのですから、おいそれと出歩く方がおかしいのです。
And yet he did last night. Saber's tone is sharp. Saber following behind me is nothing new, but it feels different today. I feel this immense pressure directed at me, and that's putting it mildly. I can tell Saber's going to be tough to handle. I mean, can you blame her? Alright, to the neighboring town in this loud-ass bus. We get on the bus. It would have been stuffed with people about an hour ago, but there's only a handful of people using it now. The only people on the bus are old women with children, so it feels like we have the place to ourselves.
Saber, 一番後ろに座ろう。
I call out to Saber, who for some reason tries to sit at the front of the bus, and lead her to the wider seat at the back. It's been a while since I've been on a bus. I used to commute by bus to school, so it's been a little bit. COVID decided to get in the way of that, so then I started attending the good old Zoom University. No bus required there. Saber quietly looks out at the passing scenery. I steal a glance at her and realize how crazy I am for what I'm trying to do today. Yeah, again, middle of a war. Taking the bus to a nearby town is an ordinary thing for me. But here in this ordinary place, something extraordinary is happening. Or, well, I'm finding myself questioning whether I'm actually doing this whole date thing, and my mind starts spinning and whirling like some complex cube puzzle. Crap, I'm getting really nervous. It's kind of getting out of control. I take a deep breath to calm myself down so Saber won't notice. But then, I know this is stupid, I take another look at Saber. I mean, she is an attractive woman. I think we can all agree. However, well, actually, I don't know if I can use the argument that she's not entirely human, huh? I guess the argument I've been making this entire time, that she's not human, that she's otherworldly, is kind of a lie. It's not accurate, you know? It doesn't add up anymore. My heart skips a beat. I know that feeling. I hardly recognize Saber as she sits next to me. Or, well, it's less that I don't recognize her than it is that the situation itself is unrecognizable. It makes me realize that she is something else. She is different. I didn't realize it when we were at home. And this ordinary everyday life seems to me like it's becoming something entirely new and different just because Saber is here. Her golden blonde hair, her green eyes, those alone are enough to make her overwhelmingly beautiful. It hadn't really crossed my mind, since I never had much to compare her to. I remember the first time I met Saber. I must have been avoiding her because I was too embarrassed to admit that I was admiring Saber. No matter what Saber says, to me she's a girl before she's a swordsman. I didn't know how to react to her, and I didn't understand my feelings for her. I have to admit, I know I sound stupid, you do, but it's okay. You have feelings for somebody, and when you have feelings for somebody, you will sound stupid. The brain don't work anymore. That's okay. That's normal. I've developed trust and affection for Saber past the point of no return, and now I've decided to go on a date with her. The order of events is all backwards. Now as I get off the bus, with 2 S's, I finally realize what a big deal it is to go on a date with a girl I like. But that's okay. I can only give it my all, so I can't very well take it all back and cower in fear. I'm very confused about that bus line. Did I completely read that wrong? That's really bothering me. Where is it? Now as I get off the bus, I finally realize what... You mean on the bus? Because we're not leaving the bus right now. Am I missing something? Am I being stupid? It's okay. I calm myself and try to shake off my ridiculous apprehension. The bus crosses the bridge and drives towards the development area, and its masses of tall buildings. I breathe out, almost whistling, and ready myself. The familiar bus announcement tells us that we've arrived at Shinto Station. I guess, okay, now we're getting off the bus, okay. It's only 9 in the morning, but the area around the station is already busy. Yeah, people are going to work. Most of the shops don't open until around 10 o'clock, but cafes and smaller bookshops are starting to open up. There are already more people here than you would expect in Miyama, even if it were a weekend. Why are you giving us that look? We get off the bus and Saber looks around the area displeased. I don't blame her. She hasn't really agreed to the whole date thing, and everyone is staring at her now. I doubt she loves that.
まずったな。考えてみれば、朝からセイバーを連れてくれば当然こうなる。
But this discomfort is bound to follow us around all day. The only cure for this I can think of is Saber enjoying herself so much she forgets all the awkwardness.
よし。
I smack my fist into my hand and look over to Saber.
セイバー、初めに聞いておくけど、どこか行ってみたいところはあるか？せっかく来たんだから、今日ぐらいは好きなことをしてもいいだろう。
Oh, be careful asking her opinion here.
さあ、別にこれといって興味のある場所はありませんから。そもそも私にそのような選択をする知識はありません。
Well, to the arcade we go.
本当か？そりゃ参ったな。じゃあ本当にここからは出たとこ勝負なわけか。セイバーに行きたいところがなくて、こっちもどこに行っていいかわからないんじゃ前途多難だ。
Let's go to the arcade.
まさかとは思うのですが、何の計画も立てていないのですか、シロ？
いや、少しはあるけど、中身はガラガラ。とりあえず手当たり次第に店をはしごしよう。
Such as the arcade, with Dance Dance Revolution. Both of them could be dancing at the same time. It's gonna be crazy. That's kinda hard too. I know some stores I'd enjoy, but I have no idea what girls like. Honestly, if I had known this would happen to me someday, it'd have been smart to go out with a girl from class at least once. If one was willing, of course.
反論するわけではありませんが、シロはどうかしています。休憩を取ろうという考えはまだいい。ですが、その休憩すら明確な予定を立てていないとは何事ですか？
Crap, now Saber's in lecturing mode. This is the first time she's ever given me such an earful outside the dojo. She wasn't into this from the start, and I figured all the people staring at her wouldn't help, but I didn't realize it'd be this bad.
かねてからあなたの見積もりの甘さには一言したかったのです。あなたは周りのことは目に入ってるくせに、どうも自身に対する扱いが存在です。
Uh-huh.
結果、
Sounds a little
祖母を
familiar,
埋める
huh?
ために あなた自身が対価を払わなくてはならなくなると聞いているのですか、シロー。
聞いてるよ。要するに今こうしているのが納得いかないんだろ、セイバー。まあ俺に連れ回されてもつまらないのは目に見えてるし、嫌がるのは当然だろうけど。
いえ、そういうことではなく、私は今はこのようなことをしている場合ではないと。
But when will there be a time for this sort of thing?
それも分かってるけど聞かない。俺は今日一日セイバーに付き合ってもらうって決めたんだ。こればっかりは何て言われようと曲げない。絶対だ。
I look straight at Saber. The only thing Saber can do is look back at me in shock.
ただ言いたいことがあるなら聞く。文句もあるだろうし、そういうのは今のうちに言っておいてくれ。その方がお互い気兼ねしなくて済む。セイバーが俺とデートするのが嫌だって言うんなら別の方法だって考える。
いえ、何もそこまでする必要はないと言いますか。私はその
It's odd seeing Saber at a loss for words.
なら文句はないんだな。じゃ行くぞ。セイバーにリクエストがないんだからどこ行ったって怒るなよ。
I mean, that's a little unfair. Come on now. Maybe we should go to an aquarium. I hear those are popular. Absolutely. God damn. I'm watching fucking Blue Box right now, and they pulled out the fucking aquarium move. That's a pretty rare one that you see nowadays in the romance genre, but it hit hard. I think it was a good hit and a good choice to make. So I think if an aquarium is a choice in any sort of romantic move, you should be taking it just straight up.
シロー、文句はありませんが、何も手をつかむ必要はないのではありませんか。
No, it's necessary.
いや時間ももったいないし少し走るからな。案内するからはぐれないようについてこい。
いえ、こんな状態ではその
I start running without waiting for Saber's reply. I've been pretty clear with Saber, so no more being pathetic in front of her. For now, I just need to escort her to every place I can think of. Saber's hand in mine, I run through the crowd. Apparently, Saber's given up resisting, as she just follows obediently. And it's a little before 10 o'clock. We have 2 hours until lunchtime, so I'm gonna try to make the most of that and really knock Saber's socks off. I don't know why I forced the word try in there, sorry about that. Those 2 hours were like a storm. First, we tried a boutique that I'd normally never go to. Then we tried our hand at bowling while I taught her the rules. That's pretty close to an arcade. I couldn't find the aquarium, but we fed birds at the park. We visited an interesting antique shop that ended up being a lot of fun. And I maintain that not going to the movie theater was the right choice. Anyway, I spent the whole time taking her places I figured a girl might like, and it was 2 hours of failure and defeat. However, I tried to spin it. The day wasn't really shaping up to be a date. It felt more like a battle to the death, in which the first person to give up loses. Whenever I took Saber, or wherever I took Saber, she acted exactly like she always has done. Once in a while, she would fall so quiet, I would start to worry if she was truly angry. Her lack of reaction made it clear that she was not having fun, which pushed me to try even harder each time. And so I ran all around the city, desperate to make Saber smile, but noon came before I actually accomplished anything. And with Saber's reminder that it's lunchtime, I decided to take a short break. However, what do we got going on? What the fuck is this?
なんだここ。
That's what I want to know. I can't help but blurt it out as we sit down.
昼食なら川沿いの喫茶店がおすすめよ。
Ah, shit. That was the only advice Tosaka gave me last night. Great. So I did as she suggested and picked the restaurant. But I never imagined it would be so pretentious. This looks expensive. Just the background here makes me think this place is stupid expensive. I take a look at the menu. Luckily, the menu has Japanese translations next to all of its foreign text, so I can at least figure out what all the dishes are. The problem is that I've never even heard of any of these dishes, and the prices are outrageous.
火星かここは。何を頼んでいいのか全くわからないぞ。
I stare at the menu and growl.
シロ、ここには昼食を取るために立ち寄ったのではないのですか？
Yeah, if we can pay for it. Saber looks and sounds a little concerned.
そうなんだが、いかんせん勝手が違うというか。
I look up, and what I see is Saber looking like a cornered rabbit.
セイバー？
落ち着かないのなら、今だけでも屋敷に戻りましょう。シロが用意してくれるものの方が私は好みです。
それは家に帰りたいってことか？
いえ、屋敷に帰りたいわけではなくですね。今日はひどく緊張したので、普段より疲れてしまったのです。
Yeah, a date will do that to you.
本当か。そっか。ここで飯にして一息ついたらまた街を出歩こうと思ったんだけど。
まさかそのようなことはありません。疲れたというのは語弊がありました。正しくはですね。
It's mental exhaustion, that the nerves really do get to you. Saber stops. Fortunately, I'm the only one who hears the faint squeak from her stomach. Aha. Oh, she could have just told me that she was hungry.
申し訳ありません。つまり昼食は早めにしてもらえると助かるということです。
了解。そうだな。面白みがないけど無難なところを頼んでみて、さっさと飯にありつこうか。
It should be easy if a light snack is all we need. I order two things that seem like lunch dishes and we quickly eat. I guess nothing of note further happens here, unless, while I'm drinking my after-meal coffee, I start thinking about what to do in the afternoon. What I learned this morning is that physical stuff like bowling is no good. Saber is extremely competitive. That in itself is good, but Saber's looks already draw enough attention, and when she gets like that, well, she stands out even more. After we finished a game, Saber got sulky because of all the attention she drew.
そんなわけで体を動かすのは避けると。
I have a feeling Saber bowled a perfect game.
なあセイバー、2度目になるけどどこか行きたいところってあるか？
私にですか？いえ、特にはありません。私ではわかりませんから、このままシロにお任せします。
Well, alright. Saber lifts her teacup as she speaks. She ordered black tea to have after her meal, and it seems she enjoys its flavor. I hardly serve black tea at home, and even if I did, it would just be cheap tea bags. Saber must not have been satisfied with the drinks I've been serving at home, since it looks like she prefers black tea. Well, I should be more mindful about that starting tonight. Saber isn't doing much, she's just drinking her tea. She doesn't seem particularly happy, but she doesn't exactly look bored either. I guess she's just being Saber. As sunlight pours in through the window, Saber sits up straight, gracefully sipping from her teacup. It's the first time I've seen her do this, but it seems so natural, it's like I've seen it a million times before. I don't know why I'm thinking that. Saber, at least as I know her, is always serious, only focused on wielding her sword, on fighting.
ああ、そうか。
It's only natural. I only think of her as the girl who takes up her sword. The moment she sets her sword aside, Saber is always calm and gentle. This scene doesn't feel new or unnatural to me because it's just her being who she is. Excuse me, no matter how skilled a swordsman she is, this is Saber just being normal. Or, well, wielding her sword isn't what makes her exceptional. I once thought, while I was dreaming, that she was suited for fighting. I don't think I'm wrong there. No matter how great her sword skills are, no matter how many battlefields she's been on, as long as she was really herself, she couldn't have found the battlefield a comfortable place to be. That's why this is how it's supposed to be. Saber's not wielding a sword. She is just resting and unwinding. She belongs in this serene setting. Doesn't that, like, strengthen her argument to, like, change the past even further, maybe? Like, well, whatever, it doesn't matter. Nothing changes in the afternoon. I take her to every shop I can think of, and Saber follows quietly. At least it's not as awkward as earlier in the morning. Either I'm getting used to the situation or Saber's given up. She's still quiet, but the more I watch her, the more I notice she looks either angry or not angry, which is really confusing. Whenever I see Saber coming out of a store looking excited, I feel this sense of accomplishment. It really makes me happy. Then, after a careful consideration of what Saber might like, wow. I'm not certain, but I determined that this is the shop most likely to please Saber. You guys ever go to a Build-A-Bear workshop? Those are the most interesting of places, and in a way, I'm kind of happy they still exist because I know technology has sort of been at the forefront to entertain kids, but, you know, luckily a stuffed toy is still kind of like, you know, a marketable thing. But I went one time, and I did make I made a stuffed dog, I think. I think that's what I got. I don't know, it was a trip for, like, my friend's birthday or whatever, and it was interesting. It was an interesting procedure, and that's when the Build-A-Bear mobile, or not, it wasn't mobile, it was like an MMO, I think. It was a flash game that you can play on your desktop, and of course it ran like dog shit, and you could pay to have, like, more stuff in the game, but you can have your own Build-A-Bear, you know, if you actually go and, you know, build it, and you get, like, a code or whatever. For a kid, that was a lot of fun, you know? I don't know what they do nowadays, but stuffed animals, you know, they're okay in my book. Saber stands in front of the store, mouth agape. I'm not sure if her shoulders are trembling because she's angry or excited. I just can't tell.
Shirou, ここは
Oh, we're in heaven now.
街で一番品揃えのいいぬいぐるみ屋だってさ。男子禁制らしいんで立ち寄ったことはなかったけど。
Men aren't allowed? Obviously, it's not that men aren't allowed in the store. It's just that most of the customer base are girls, so there's this unspoken rule about men not going inside. Besides, there are only girls in the store right now. Saber, with her beautiful blonde hair, is drawing attention, while I'm drawing glares for being a guy. They must be all trying to keep me out of their sanctuary. And I can't agree more. Even I don't think guys should be in a store like this. Oh, come on.
せっかく来たんだから周りは気にせず見て回ろう。そういえば好きな動物っているか？
Lion.
その主に獅子やヒョウなどは愛らしいと思っているのですが、おかしいでしょうか。
I find myself turning away and fighting not to laugh. I think that shit's cute as fuck. Come on. I'm not sure why Saber liking lions is strange.
シロ、今の行為は不自然です。何か言われのない怒りを覚えるのですが、私の気のせいでしょうか。
Yeah, it's your imagination.
いや、悪い悪い。ライオンってのがあんまりにもセイバーらしかったんで、つい笑っちまった。
人の趣味を笑うのは良くないことです、シロ。それにライオンも悪くありません。
だからすまなかったって。お詫びにいいとこに連れてくから、それで機嫌を直してくれ。
I try to fight down my laughter and walk into the store. Let's see. Looks like animal stuffed toys are over there. And it takes about an hour to get from one end of the store to the other. There's no way. There's no way. I watch in silence as Saber stares at the stuffed animals while I worry about the dozen or so sets of prying eyes staring at me from around the store. I've never been so exhausted in my life as I am today. The terrifying thing is that we've only made it through half of the store. Saber frequently is paralyzed. That is, she often stops and stares at a stuffed animal. Even after all this time, we're only halfway through the store. Saber seems very interested in the other half of the store, so I guess I'll just hang around while she does what she wants here.
シロ、どうしたのです、ため息をついて。歩き通して疲れてしまったとか。
ああ、ちょっと疲れた。こんな程度で音を上げるほどやわじゃないんだけどな。ここは特別だ。
I heave a sigh. I don't mind people staring at us when we're just walking around, but I'm uncomfortable with it when we're in this girly shop. When you're mentally drained, the first part of your body that feels it is your legs.
そういうセイバーは大丈夫か？こういう店初めてだろ？疲れたんなら言ってくれ。
確かに私も落ち着きませんが、シロの方が居心地が悪そうです。ここだけではなく、先ほどの店もその前の店でもそうでした。まさかとは思うのですが、シロは自分で行きたくない場所を選んでいるのではないですか？
I mean, all of this is very new. Suddenly, those words dispel all the worries and mental exhaustion I felt earlier.
そうだな。正直に言えば、あえて苦手なところを選んでるけど。
I think that's kind of, part of the journey whenever you go on a date, is that you're probably going to end up in locations that you would normally never go to. I know I have. And I think I'm a better person for it. It's just part of the experience.
やはりどうかしています、シロ。慣れないと分かっていて、なぜこのような場所ばかり選ぶのです。それではあなたが。
いや、だって女の子にはこういう場所のが似合うだろう。遊びに行こうって連れ出したのは俺なんだから。今日はセイバーの日なわけだし。それにそう居心地悪くないぞ。セイバーがいるから大丈夫。隣にこれだけ美人がいるんだから、妬まれることはあれ、場違いだって思われることもないし。
Yeah, people just need to mind their own business. Come
何
on
をバカ
now.
な。武装していなくても私はサーバントです。いかに非戦闘時だからといって私を女性扱いする必要はありません。
バカはそっちだ。普段通りも何もセイバーは初めっから女の子じゃないか。別に今日だけ気を使ってるわけじゃないし、今日の俺っていつもと違うか。
She's bewildered. Saber's mouth hangs open, as if she's only just now realizing this.
いえ、同じです。あなたはいつも通りのシローでした。
だろ？だから俺に気を使う必要なんてないぞ。ほら、それじゃ行こう。一番気に入ったものを買うんだから、あと半分も見ないとダメだろ。
I take Saber's hand. She offers no objection as I tug her along.
そうでした。初めからそうだったのに、今になって。
She murmurs to herself, sounding dazed. Where's this sadness all of a sudden coming from? Did I miss something there? The uncomfortable day passes by in a flurry. Saber never laughs, not once during the whole day, so neither do I. No part of the day was particularly memorable, but neither was there any painfully boring aspect. Basically, nothing significant happened. The way it went, maybe Saber would have been happy if we'd stayed in the dojo and trained together. But today wasn't all that bad either. Even if it didn't end up being all that exciting, I should be proud that I at least managed to take Saber around. After the war is over and once everything goes back to normal, I don't want to look back on all this and realize that all the time I spent with Saber was in combat, even if this entire date was stupid. Kind of is in my opinion, but whatever. She needs to spend some time doing something other than fighting, or there's no point in her being here. So yeah, I should be proud of myself. The end is near. When everything is done, and when there's no need to fight anymore, if Saber can look back on this moment, well, that's enough for me. Honestly, yeah, I get why he's doing it. Obviously, there are the feelings that he's kind of grown for her, the connection that has kind of, really jumped up between the two because of the procedure that went down when they were over in Ilya's forest getting ready for the big fight against Berserker, trying to save Saber's life. A lot has changed, and there's definitely some strong feelings that Shirou feels for her that may not be as, external that we're seeing from Saber over to Shirou. Obviously, some big changes there. But he also, in his normal way, in his absolute normal way, Shirou is, again, prioritizing other people over himself. But maybe also in a way, this is also something for himself, Maybe you could also envision it that way, I don't know. But you know what, this wasn't the biggest waste of time. I may even argue it wasn't necessarily a waste of time, it was just quite the interesting event. We walk back home. Just as we're trying to get on the bus,
帰りは歩いて行きましょう。
Saber finally voices a preference. The winds are picking up. The brilliant sunset paints the bridge red. Saber notices something, stops and looks over the bridge into the river. She's looking at a mountain of rubble. I say it's a mountain, but the pile isn't really that high. Steel frames and other things are piled up just a little below the water level, and it's only slightly disturbing the flow of water, or flow of the river. I don't know what happened, but some boat probably sank, and then pieces of it drifted here. I hear some of the neighboring residents have been complaining, trying to get rid of the pile since it's unsightly.
なんだよ、セイバー。あれが気になったのか？
いえ、まだ残っていたのかと。あれの原因は私ですから。
Oh, shit.
前回の戦いで水上戦を余儀なくされ、ここで宝具を使ってしまった。
So you're telling me that shit was there for like the past 10 or so years?
被害は川を干上がらせただけでしたが、運悪く停泊していた船を巻き込んでしまったのです。
はあ？巻き込んだって、まさかエクスカリバーにか？
Yeah, let's shout the fucking name of her sword so anybody nearby can hear it.
被害も大きくなかったんです。川だって今では元通りですし、そう怒らなくともいいではありませんか。私だって反省しているのですから。
I should be more careful. When we use Excalibur, I need to be mindful to use it somewhere there's a lot of open space, like out here.
シロ、まだ怒っていますか？
いや、別に怒ってない。ただびっくりしただけだ。あとはまあ前回の名残って結構あるんだなって。中央公園のあれのに比べたら川の瓦礫なんて問題じゃないだろう。まあ船の持ち主は災難だったとは思うが。
それはご安心を。船の持ち主には保険が下りたとキリツグが言っていましたし、もともと緩衝材にするつもりで船を止めさせたのですから。船体を壁に見立てて宝具の威力を削いだのですね。
なんだ、じゃあ初めから承知で船を壊したってことか。
承知していたわけではありません。あれはキリツグが私に黙って用意していたものです。そうですね、キリツグには戦いの流れが読めていたのでしょう。船を用意する前もその後も一言も口にしなかったので気がつきませんでしたが。
I don't know, man. Like, it's so interesting how Kiritsugu approached the war. Because we're not entirely sure how he did. He never really spoke to his own servant, and yet made it to the very end and did what he did. There had to have been something else going on through his head through a lot of the events. There had to have been. And then Saber looks down at the river, probably thinking back to that earlier Holy Grail War. And the surface of the water glitters with reflected sunlight. The wind coming from the river flutters Saber's hair. She's so beautiful.
Saber, 今日は楽しかったか?
I'm suddenly scared that Saber is going to disappear. So I ask a question that's probably better not to voice.
はい。何か言いましたか、シロ？
言った。今日は楽しかったか聞いた。
I hold my breath. Saber looks a little confused.
そうですね。新鮮でないと言えば嘘になります。
She says it fondly, like she knows she'll never have another day like this. Which is exactly why I already knew her answer. The only thing left for me to do is nod in agreement, and then walk her home. At the least, things can still go back to normal if I leave it at that.
そうか。
I look at Saber and nod.
ならまた行こう。こんなの別に今回限りってわけじゃないんだから。
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. It's maybe a dangerous thing to say. Saber's expression hardens. I think she realizes what I'm trying to say. She looks directly at me and silently shakes her head. There will not be a second time. This happened today, and that's where it will stay.
それはなぜ？
I know exactly what Saber's going to say. I know I won't be satisfied with her answer, but I ask anyway.
なぜも何もない。サーバントは戦うために存在するものです。今日のような行為は自らの存在を否定することになる。
Okay, but from what I've been finding out recently, servants are fighting for that wish. And that wish may be for a second chance at life, to live again. Not as a servant necessarily, but sure, you'll live as long as the master. But you'll have, the freedom to live again, and not just to fight.
シローが休憩すべきだと判断したから従いましたが、もうこの先は体を休める必要はないでしょう。残る敵は少ない。シローが命じるなら、今すぐにでもランサーを探し出したいほどですが。
She focuses on me, eyes blazing with her fighting spirit. Saber is saying that she can head into battle anytime if she is ordered to. And that really sets off my anger.
なんだよそれ。そんなに戦いたいのか、お前は。
当然でしょう。戦えば戦うほど聖杯に近づくのです。私にとって戦闘は何よりも優先すべきことです。それは素人って分かっているはずですが。
ああ、分かってる。だからおかしいんだ。前から言いたかったんだけどな。矛盾してるぞ、お前。セイバーは戦いが大事だって言う割に、自分から戦いたいなんて思ってないだろう。他に手段がないから、いやいや戦ってるに過ぎないんじゃないのか。
I mean, she's fighting because of the contract that she threw herself into. When she was alive, of which she still kind of is, she wanted the Holy Grail. She basically put herself willingly into a contract to fight for the Holy Grail. That was a decision she made. So I don't know
そんなことはあり
there.
ません。私は戦闘をためらわない。勝利するためならば手段は選ばないと言ったでしょう。
Yeah, she did say that. But that doesn't mean she likes fighting.
できる範囲でだろ。いいか、セイバー。単純に他のマスターを倒して聖杯を手に入れるって言うんならさ、ライダーみたいに人を襲って力を得ればいい。だけど、セイバーはそれが嫌なんだろう。
それは
無関係な人間を巻き込みたくないんじゃない。いざ戦いになれば、人は死ぬものだと、お前はよくわかっている。そう。だからこそお前は、戦闘を最小限に抑えたがっていた。戦えば死者は出る。だから、早く終わらせたいって。
Saber's eyes grow wide, like she's seen a ghost, but quickly narrow. She grits her teeth.
違います。私は戦いを怖がってなどいません。
そうだな。確かに、お前は初めから怖がってなんていなかったと思う。そんな個人の恐怖なんて、王の使命とやらで塗りつぶされていたんだろうから。だけど、それでもお前は戦いを嫌ってる。お前は単に強くて戦いがうまかっただけだ。はっきり言うぞ。お前は戦いになんて向いていない。本当は剣を取ることさえ嫌だったはずだ。戦うことだけが目的だっていうのは、お前自身がお前をごまかすための言い分に過ぎない。
On top of that, why didn't anyone around her, even herself, figure it out and just say something?
シロ、いくらあなたでもそれ以上の侮辱は許しません。
I don't think he's insulting you whatsoever.
図星だから我慢できないんだろ。認めたら戦えなくなるからな。
I hear a grinding sound. Saber's glaring at me, trying to hold back her anger. I can't back down now. I know I'm right. I can't back down.
だからやめろよ。お前だってやめたがってるんだろ。剣なんて自分に向いてないって分かってるんだろ。ならやめてしまえばいい。サーバントなんてやめて、もっと自分に向いたことをしろ。
it's not too late for her to try to find whatever real human happiness she's always wanted. And for that, I would...
バカなことを。私に戦う以外の選択肢などありません。この私は聖杯を手に入れるためだけのものです。王の誓いを守るためにこの身を差し出した。それ以外の自分の使い道など私には許されない。
She's just an object seeking to obtain the Holy Grail. That's what ticked me off the most. Why does she talk like she's only trying to convince herself? Everyone around her took her at her word because she kept insisting on stuff like this.
バカ、そんなことあるか。道なんていくらでもある。お前はここにいるんだ。昔のお前とは違う。なら、これからは自分のために生きなきゃダメだ。間違っても聖杯を。
What I say next is what I hope for most.
どうでもいい他人のためなんかには使うな。ここにいるなら、セイバーはここで幸せにならなきゃダメだ。
My ears pick up the sound of wind. Saber doesn't answer. She doesn't nod. She only looks straight in my eyes.
その言葉にはうなずけない。私はあなたに従うと契約した。だが、心まで預けたわけではありません。マスター。
Wow. Fuck, man. That's a hard line right there. Ooh, okay. Saber speaks slowly and clearly.
王の誓いは破れない。私には王として果たさなければならない責務がある。アーサー王の目的は聖杯の入手です。それが叶おうとも、私はアルトリアに戻ることはないでしょう。私の望みは初めから一つだけ。剣を手にした時から、この誓いは永遠に変わらないのですから。
なんでだよ。セイバーがやらなくちゃいけないことは、そんなんじゃないだろう。そんな、最後まで報われないなんて、間違ってる。お前には聖杯なんて必要ない。それに。
Besides, Saber's wish won't come true. What's already happened can't be changed.
セイバー、起きてしまったことをやり直すなんてできないんだ。いや、それはやってはいけないことだと思う。
いいえ、決してそんなことは。
なら言ってやる。たとえどんなにひどい結末だろうと、起きてしまったことを変えるなんてできない。できなかったからやり直しがしたいなんて、そんなのは子供のわがままと同じじゃないか。
We're at an impasse. Saber doesn't say anything more, and I don't have any more to say. The sound of the wind stops. Or rather, it pauses for a moment. An instant later, it picks back up. Just as I feel the wind on my cheek,
シローなら分かってくれると思っていた。
it becomes a headwind.
今日一日無意に過ごし、言い
Fuck,
たかったこ
man.
とはそれだけですか。
Ah, shit. Her voice is cold. I hear only rejection in it.
思い上がらないでほしい。あなた程度の人間に私の何がわかるというのです。あなたに私に踏み入る権利などない。戦うなですか。私に守られなければならない未熟なマスターが何を。そのような世まい事を吐くのは一人で戦えるようになってからにしてください。まあそんなことは永遠にありえないでしょうが。
Holy fuck, she is pissed.
違う。世まいごとって。
ですから世まい事でしょう。自分のことを考えろですって。それは素人で同じではありませんか。
Yeah, I'm gonna have to side with her on that one because he has been very hypocritical. At one point, I was thinking, you know, the way that they act is similar but different in how they want to save others. However, it is still more so of, you know, selfless acts. There's no selfishness in what they're doing. However, she does have the selfish wish of going for the Holy Grail in order to remove herself from history. So, I don't know what Shirou's got going on that can be related to that necessarily.
あなたは自分の命が感情に入っていない。
That's not only what she wants for herself, or is it, but she also thinks that that's the best thing for everybody else.
あなたは私が間違っていると言いますが、あなたの方こそ何かを間違えている。自身より他人を優先するなど死者の考えだ。自身の命の重みも知らない大バカ者がよくもそんなことを言えたものです。
セイバー、お前。
勘に触りましたか。ならいっそのこと契約を解除しても構いません。どうせあなたは聖杯を必要としていない。あとは私一人でマスターを破り聖杯を手に入れるだけですから。そんなに戦うのが嫌ならばあなたは遠くで隠れていればいいでしょう。
セイバー、お前。
My voice trembles. My teeth are rattling. I'm angrier than I realized.
当然です。私の目的は聖杯だけ。それ以外のことなど余計だ。シロ、それはあなたも例外ではありません。
Wow. I struggle to breathe. I try to fight the blackness encroaching on my vision. Try to get my heart beating again.
この分からずや。いい、そんなに戦いたいってんなら勝手にしろ。
I can't keep my emotions under control. I yell out some sort of lame excuse and then turn and run. I run away from her. And for an instant... Aw, man. I think I see Saber just standing there, dumbfounded.
くそ。
I just run. I don't know why I'm mad, only that I am. So I run in a fit of rage.
それ以外のことなど余計だ。シロ、それはあなたも。
You know, I think this is a situation where she was trying to say some stuff that were pretty, you know, there's some tough things to say here that she brought up, but they may not be entirely truthful. She may be doing yet another selfless act in order to create a separation, to try and remove the feelings that not only she has, but also what Shirou has and what's pushing him to be this way, to try and change Saber's mind on everything. I grit my teeth. Honestly, I'm getting dizzy just thinking back on what she said. I'm so unfocused I might run into a pole or something. Well, it would be easy if I could do that. If I was only angry at Saber, I should have taken it out on her like an idiot and just been done with it. But something else caused my fit of rage. Excuse me, I'm not mad at Saber. I'm so frustrated that I keep running, and I don't allow myself to catch my breath because I know I'm a spineless good-for-nothing. Saber just stands there gaping at me. I hear her faintly, just as the wind changed directions.
シロなら分かってくれると思っていた。
くそ、そんなの分かるか、バカ。
I immediately regret my words and nearly trip. What did those words mean? They had sounded like parting words, but also like she had been about to cry. I think she was betrayed as well, you know? I mean, she could have been fully truthful with, you know, the harshness that she brought out against him because she felt betrayed. I don't know. I mean, she's gone through a lot. You know, she's in a endless loop, seemingly, until she can actually break out with the Holy Grail in hand. And this has been a very interesting Holy Grail War for her, in comparison to the previous one especially. Now that I think back, that was probably the only honest thing she'd said. She had hung her head as she muttered that to me. Her voice was a mixture of expectation, disappointment, and pleading. Then, who was the betrayer and who was betrayed? Yeah, I mean, there are two perspectives to this whole deal. Hopefully we don't run into anybody here. I wonder if Ilya's, you know, awake. I doubt it. I run into my room and slam the sliding door. I flop onto the floor, arms and legs splayed. I'm tired of standing. I just want to lie down and go right to sleep. But even when I lie down, my body's on fire. My heart feels like it's about to burst, and my lungs are desperate to take in oxygen. I ran back here at full speed, not even pausing once, so I can't blame my body for the discomfort. I feel like I still haven't run enough, but my body is telling me to slow down. It takes a bit, but I manage to calm down. I take a deep breath, hold it, and then release it. Oh yeah, when I learned back when I was doing cross country back in high school is you want to raise your arms above your head, kind of like, cross your fingers, rest them behind your head, or just have them on the top of your head, whatever. And just, breathe in, breathe out, in through the nose, out through the mouth, have good rhythm. And then you want to, bring it all in, hold it, and then release. Really does slow down the heart rate. Gets you back under control. After my breathing calms down, there's just one thing left swirling in my head. And it's a simple question. What am I really angry about? It's not really something I need to think about. I was running because I know I'm helpless. I can't help Saber. It's so frustrating, I'm angry with myself. I can't do anything. I said I was going to make her smile. I decided to protect Saber, but I couldn't do anything. And that's making me so angry.
けど、どうしろってんだ。セイバー自身が自分の幸せを求めていない限り、他人がどうこう言っても無駄だってのに。
That's why I tried to help Saber find happiness on her own. But she told me those efforts were futile, even called me an idiot.
自身の命の重みも知らない。大バカ者。
But what do I do with all of that? I value my life, and I don't want to do anything to end it. And my life has nothing to do with Saber. Bringing my circumstances into this wasn't fair. No, it is fair. It is fair. You know, he is a hypocrite. He is. He has done so much to protect others, especially Saber. He's jumped in the way of something that should have been fatal now multiple times. No matter how stupid I am, I know for sure that Saber's wrong. But when she outright rejects me like that, well, there's not really anything I can do.
もう勝手にしろ。
I roll over to lay flat on my face. Now all I see is the tatami mat, so I might as well just close my eyes and empty my mind. I don't care what happens to Saber. If the Holy Grail is so important, then she should just... God damn it. Then she should just marry it. If she's going to be this stubborn after I've told her this so many times, I should just stay out of it, or I'll end up getting burned. Actually, I might not get out of that mess with only a burn. I might actually get really hurt. I've already gotten hurt. This is worse than just getting burned. I met her, fought with her multiple times, and to survive, I saw into the depths of her heart in a moment of incredible intimacy. I remember her heat, the light deep inside her. I don't know why I'm remembering this right now. There's a faraway grassy field, memories of a girl left behind. The moment I think back to that beauty, nothing matters anymore. What Saber says doesn't matter.
何が戦うだけのものだ。それなら、半端に弱い部分なんて見せるなって言うんだ。
Saber is just unfair. I don't know what exactly is unfair about her, but I know something is. Angry as I am, I can't hate her. The more I want to forget her, the harder it gets. It's all tangled up.
畜生。惚れた方が負けってこういうことか。
But I can't help it. I can't give up no matter how many times she tells me it's useless. I just have to see it through to the end.
シローなら分かってくれると思っていた。
I remember her face there, on the verge of tears. Does that mean... will she make that face every time I do something like this?
それでもだ。どんなことになっても、うなずくわけにはいかない。
I'm going to keep doing this, even if I am wrong. If she's really important to me, I will never apologize to her. Well, this turned into a very emotional episode, didn't it? Okay. As much as I'm not really happy I'm ending an episode with this, this tick-tock going on here, it's better than the alarm clock, so we'll wrap it up on this one. So there we go. That was a fun date, wasn't it? There was something to it, you know? We got something out of it at the very end. A very important episode, I think, that really focuses in on the characters here that have been at the forefront of this story. and really just how they've interacted with one another and where they have to go going forward. You know, it is very important to explore that because they are very different people, but at the same time, very similar. There are some big similarities, some huge problems between the two, or that the two of them have, and it has created this clash. How they go forward, they have to change their philosophies. Both of them have to. It's the only way, I think. But we'll see what happens in the next episode. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.